Welcome. Hello.
Hello.
Greetings and salutations. T, you are here today with us today in the council chambers, taking a look at the 5 best Arkham DLCs. We're going to go through all the games. We're going to list them off. We've got some great things on here like Them Bones, amazing.
Ooh.
We've got the Red Hood story pack. I'm just kidding. Please don't click off the video. We're just kidding.
That is rich.
So we're going to jump through these. Let's hop into it.
Alright, so number 5 on our spicy list of DLC is going to be Season of Infamy from Batman Arkham Knight, the final installment of the series. And I believe it was actually one of the final DLC installments in the Season Pass. It was really enjoyable, to be honest with you. So it included a story wrapping up really just loose ends with Ra's al Ghul, Killer Croc, the Mad Hatter, and my favorite was Mr. Freeze, the good doctor, and his wife Nora. So there was just a lot of tying up loose ends there, getting everyone all set from the previous games that you had seen, and I really liked all of them, except maybe the reason it's a little bit lower on the list, I think, is the Mad Hatter was a little bit lame,
well, because his whole thing just revolves around finding police in cars. They're like shoved in trunks.
Yeah, loud sirens.
Helping them, and then like you get them out. But his is still cool at the end with running through the storybook.
Unreal.
It's a mixed bag, and Killer Croc's fine. I mean, it's not great, it's not bad.
It's not super memorable, but it's fine.
Here's the thing, though. Like, it did introduce one of the most interesting side missions, which was actually the whole one with Ra's al Ghul.
Yes. Yep.
That was very interesting, like how it actually gave you choices and how you interacted with that, and it had really good atmosphere. It also went
Talia's sister too, Nissa, I believe was her name.
Yeah, and it went in on the M rating. There's a lot of blood and stuff in that.
It was pretty,
dark.
It was kind of a gruesome scene when you walk into that, I forget the name.
The hospital.
Yeah, was it the Thomas Elliot Hospital? The Elliot Hospital, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I think it was something like that. But yeah, it was gruesome when you walk in there. There's just dead bodies everywhere. It was a literal war scene. Yeah, it was very intense. Yeah,
it was nuts. And really this DLC, like one of the reasons we love it so much is not even because of fully what it does in terms of each character, but because it's a post-game. Like, it is a comprehensive post-game for you for a few hours of stuff to do. And if you want, like, upon replaying the game, once you get certain percentages into the story, these side missions unlock, and you can sort of just pick and choose and do them as you go as well.
Yeah, it actually adds into the game itself, which was really cool because the other DLCs in this game, and there's a reason they're not on this list, is because you look at like the Red Hood pack, which was still cool, or like even the Harley Quinn, the Nightwing. They're very short-lived, and you have to go to the main menu, click on them, and kind of enter into.
Yeah, it's a self-contained thing.
Exactly, and there may be 3 quick missions. You're probably done with them in 20 minutes. This was different because it's within the realm of the story. So if you go into like New Game Plus and play through it, like you said, you can do these missions as if they're normal side missions within the game. So it actually added to the environment within the world that you spend the most time in. Yeah. It was just a really nice inclusion.
Makes the world more alive.
Yes, very much so.
That's something that all these games, they already have, but they really do need once you've replayed them a few times.
Mm-hmm. And it tied up these stories that weren't tied up before, and it did it in a very organic and like well done way, I guess. So.
Exactly. The next one we have is a bit of a cop-out entry. We totally get that. But hear us out. That's the Crime Fighter packs from Batman Arkham Knight.
Correct.
Now, I know what you're saying. Well, challenge maps are divisive. There's a lot of you that hate challenge maps. There's a lot of you that love them. That's just kind of that's the nature of the beast.
True.
But the thing with this was that it was really created to be fan service. I mean, it brought back a lot of the best challenge maps from the series while introducing new ones. I mean, we had things like the original Silent Night came back. We had, obviously, Wayne Manor. We had the Batcave. I mean, like, they really went all in. Iceberg Lounge is in this.
Very cool.
They brought back all of these really classic locations and ideas and put them in one spot. And then we also got what I believe is one of the best, if not the best, Predator maps, which is Endless Night.
Yeah, I'd say that it also added in a few Batmobile missions too, which, given we got plenty of Batmobile missions throughout the game and throughout the main story, but there were still some really cool things in there too. It was just a nice addition to challenge maps if you enjoyed them, because it was a wide variety of maps that you were getting with Predator and Combat, and it wasn't a lot, but there were some Batmobile challenges in there as well that were cool. So
for sure. The next one we have is one we have played through on the channel, so go check that out if you want. That is Harley Quinn's Revenge from Batman Arkham City. This is another polarizing one. You know, I've noticed like that in the years since this came out, when it first came out, people liked it. Like it was pretty well received actually, as being just an extension. And in more recent years, it's been sort of seen as like, it's fine. Like it's okay. There's not much here. But I really do think that this sort of builds on the themes of Arkham City, of like loss and like of Joker's passing and all these different things, and like feeds them into character development with Batman and Harley Quinn especially.
Yeah, and I think with this one too, it was cool to be able to play as Robin for a bit, because that's the only time that you get to do it in City. Because it's kind of teased earlier in the story when you're tracking down an assassin, and you get to see him for 10 seconds. But to actually be able to then get the payoff later of playing as Robin for a while and enjoying his combat, and it was obviously in the challenge maps and stuff, but to do it in that world, do it and run around the city a little bit, that was pretty cool. And then to transition to Batman and just kind of see how he was coping with the Joker's death, and then how Harley obviously was dealing with it.
Well, and how they both were like right after.
Yeah.
Like, this was like I believe a week later.
Yes.
So it's right there. It's very much a bridge between this game and Night, even though I mean, obviously in our 51 weeks goes by because I believe it's a year.
Right. Right.
So like this, I don't know. It's weird. Like it's very small and self-contained, but I think it has very good atmosphere, and I think that interesting amounts of effort went into certain aspects of it too. I mean, like all of the thugs are redesigned. They redid Harley Quinn's design completely.
They changed Joker's funhouse, like that whole area of the map, into Harley's funhouse, basically. Yeah. So, I mean, they really did shape the environment to be more like that. And they had, I think, some Vicky Vale recordings that were inside of the steel mill as well, or in that area. So, I mean, they spent a lot of time to get it in there, but it just wasn't a super long one. I think that's why it's not up a little bit higher.
It was too bad it wasn't a little bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, that was about it. I think it was maybe 2 hours max, but I think you could probably get it done in less. So
yeah, I think in our Let's Play, we did it in like an hour and 20 minutes or something, or less, and we didn't go for the balloons. If you do that, you can extend it, but that was a bit of an artificial extension on their part.
Exactly.
So the next one we have is one that you and I both love. A lot of people don't know this was designed by WB Games Montreal.
Really?
Even though it's in a Rocksteady game, they worked on this, the WB Games team.
What a twist.
A Matter of Family in Batman Arkham Knight.
Yeah, it's great. I really enjoyed it because you're going around as Batgirl, and her combat, by the way, was great. Flying around that city and fighting the thugs like that.
And her acrobatics.
Oh, it was brilliant. And then there was also, I mean, obviously you get to see at the end, you get to see the retro Harley Quinn outfit and the old school Joker outfit as well, which was really cool. But I really enjoyed, there was a side mission in there too, where you're finding these like little things around there too that had
the Jack White or whatever.
That's
things,
the
like,
ones
about Joker. Yeah, there's a backstory to Joker and how he obtained this land, essentially, and like. It actually, did you know this ties a little bit into Dr. Young as well, and like characters from Asylum.
Really?
Yeah. Matter of Family works as a bridge between Origins events and Asylum's events, even though it's in Night. It's almost like WB, and I don't know if they had any, like say over what it was, or if Rocksteady told them what to do, but it's almost like they were given like an opportunity to be like, hey, you made Origins, and like, some people like it, some people really dislike it. Build a bridge between that and Asylum. And that was their bridge.
Yeah.
And also it did establish like a lot of character intrigue with Barbara in terms of like making the Killing Joke stuff that's shown in Night matter even more. A lot better than the movie did. Mm-hmm. You know, like how they tried to do this sort of thing in the Killing Joke movie.
Paris, France?
Yeah, with Paris, France, where they would have like the intro that they made up, and they tried to like give a backstory to Barbara to make her more interesting, and it sucked. But like this was kind of the way to do it, was like over a period of time, like stepping into Barbara's shoes, getting to know her, moving through that story and that world as her, and seeing that Batman is not the only capable member of the Arkham Bat family, because everybody gets sidelined all the time in these games.
Well, you see it in City, like we were just talking about, where Batman was like, I don't need you, go back to the hospitals, like right away. So it was cool to see in Matter of Family, see her go to work, and going through the world too, which was actually a really cool designed world. You're on like a giant carnival island, basically, going around.
That's dope.
So it's kind of like a creepy, fun vibe, but I really liked the story with it. I loved the voice acting. I loved the combat that Batgirl had. I really liked the ending as well. I thought it was a good length, good pacing. It was really a highlight of the game.
Very few complaints about that DLC. Mm-hmm. So our last one, I think a lot of people can guess what it is, and it's not a focus of ours. Like, this isn't our favorite game in the Arkham series, but I think it's important to you and I to give this game credit where it deserves it.
For sure.
Because I think a lot of people don't. A lot of people just take this game and smash it down and then just won't give it the time of day. But Cold Heart in Batman Arkham Origins is pretty fantastic. And I think even if you didn't love Arkham Origins, this is a pretty fantastic self-contained Mr. Freeze story.
It was great, and I think what you said earlier was great. It was like a case study a little bit on him, and you're going through, and you see a really, really cool suit in that story as well. So I mean, the story itself was fantastic, and it was cool to actually get a look at Mr. Freeze in really in depth, because throughout the games, we kind of, in City especially, you get more of Mr. Freeze, but it's more so focused on like him finding Nora and that kind of thing, where this, you really got a deep dive on the character himself and how he runs, and him like running around the city kind of causing mayhem instead of being confined to one area like he is in the other games. When you see him in Night and City, he's just like in GCPD or on his like shipwreck. So it was cool to actually see him running around kind of causing mayhem throughout the city too, which was cool.
For sure. I loved it. I love the extreme environment suit too for Batman, like you mentioned.
For sure. It was a blast. And yeah, I haven't played it in a long time, but I do know it was one of my favorite parts of the entire game, to be honest with you. And I liked the story, but this was a really nice addition to that relatively short story in Origins. This almost felt necessary, and I think it nailed it.
So. And I love the idea of like this, and then even Matter of Family, like sort of bridging these events of like this time period between the ending of Origins and the beginning of Asylum, where there's just a lot happening that we never see.
Yeah.
So that's really cool, and that's an era of the Batman Arkham timeline I hope at some point they go back to. I would even love to buy like little short games, like character games based in that time period. So I don't know. There's a lot they could do there.
Agreed.
So hey, this was our list of the 5 best DLCs in the Batman Arkham series. I'm sure we'll eventually get to the 5 worst, because we'll definitely have our picks of those. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Did you love these? Did you hate them? What would you put on the list? Maybe you're a big, huge fan of the Batmobile racetracks. That was your favorite part of the entire game. And just like Crash Team Racing, you bought Batman just to play a racing game. Totally get that. That's definitely understandable. Hey, also, we have a Patreon going now. Would really appreciate it if you check that out. Maybe pledge some support if you are in a position where you can or want to support in that way. And hey, we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. You're all awesome. Race on, Gotham people.
Race on, Gothamites.